There are a lot of Sonic games that are hated by critics and fans. Some of these games, quite honestly, does deserve the hate that it gets, but there's a lot of games that are being wrongfully bashed. The greatest example of this would be Sonic Unleashed. This game was rated negatively at the time of being released and became a meme in the gaming industry for stupid decisions like including the Werehog. This game is actually still being debated today in the Sonic community on if the game is bad or not. Me personally, I think the game is great. So great even, that it's actually my favorite Sonic game. Now yes, you obviously don't have to agree with anything that I say in this video. Just stick around to see what I have to say about the game. So make sure to sit back, relax, get yourself a drink, make yourself comfortable, because we're gonna start talking about the game, and we're starting with the story. Sonic Unleashed's story is the best story in the entire series in my opinion. It has the best presentation, the least plot holes, and the best interactions of characters. Something that actually makes this game a lot different from other games is that you start the game knowing that Eggman has already succeeded in his evil plan. You know what, let's just talk about the opening cutscene because that pretty much explains everything. The game opens up with Sonic running on Eggman's ship, completely destroying everything that is in his path. Eggman then grabs Sonic, but that's when Sonic is revealed to have all 7 Chaos Emeralds that can help him transform into Super Sonic. That's when Sonic finally puts a stop to Eggman's plans. But that's when Eggman traps Sonic, causing him to turn into the creature we know today as the Werehog. At last, Eggman then initiates his plan again and shatters the entirety of planet Earth. Sonic is astonished as Eggman drops him out of the ship. The final shot is Sonic stuck as the Werehog while falling from the sky with the lifeless Chaos Emeralds surrounding him. Right away, this 6-minute cutscene was able to show exactly everything you need to know to understand the story. In fact, this cutscene is so good that you could have never even played a Sonic game before, and you would know everything about these characters. This cutscene, to be honest, is already praised, but I think it should be praised more. This one cutscene, that was 6 minutes, was able to establish Sonic as a character by showing his power and his ability to be fast. As well as it also showed his cocky and confident attitude. Not to mention, it also shows Eggman and what his motives are to destroy the Earth, which is to build Eggmanland.
Now I just need to harness its power. Eggmanland will finally come to be!
By the end of the scene, you see the Earth be destroyed, and now you already know the goal and the plot of the story is going to be. How many TV shows and movies can get all that established in a single 6-minute cutscene? Not only a single 6-minute cutscene, the opening cutscene. This is actually one of the best pieces of art ever made, whether you like the game or not. It rivals TV and movie standards, which is absolutely crazy to me. Anyways, enough about that. After this cutscene, the story picks up with Sonic finding a little friend who goes by, well, nothing. He doesn't really remember his name. However, like the good, kind-hearted character that Sonic is, he promises to bring him along for the journey. Sonic takes this friend of his to a nearby town. The objective is for Sonic to find out his friend's name, but since of course the world is split into multiple pieces, finding his friend's name should be at the bottom of the priority list. So Sonic just gives him the name Chip. This is because Chip really likes the chocolate chip sundae that he ate. After the first night, Sonic and Chip run into Tails, who informs them that a man named Professor Pickle may know how to fix the planet. And since Sonic is, you know, well, Sonic, he and Chip go to confront the professor about piecing back the planet. This is when it's revealed that you can restore different parts of the Earth by taking all 7 Chaos Emeralds to the 7 Gaia temples in the world. So the rest of the story pretty much takes itself from there. Sonic and Chip set out on a journey to bring the 7 Chaos Emeralds to the 7 Gaia temples so they can repair the planet Earth. However, at the last Gaia temple, Chip finds out that he's actually like Gaia, and it's his job to protect the world from Dark Gaia. This sets forth the final leg of the journey. Sonic and Chip head to Eggmanland and restore the final piece of the Earth. However, now they must fight Dark Gaia. After an absolutely beautiful and amazing supersonic boss fight, Dark Gaia is defeated, and Chip kinda dies. I mean, he's still technically alive, but he is just restored to not being awakened again until Dark Gaia is. So basically, in a nutshell, he's gonna be in a coma for the next 200 million years. This story knows exactly what it wants to be, and it does it very well. It's not cringy, it's not so bad that it's hilarious, and it's not too edgy. It's perfect. Which is also another thing. I'm sorry guys, but Sonic's target demographic is for children, so the story needs to fit within those guidelines. Of course, this doesn't mean that only kids should be able to love a story. That is something the current writers need to understand. There's many stories targeted for kids that people from all ages can enjoy, and I believe this game's story is the most perfect way to pull that off. I'm tired of all the one-note writing that the recent games have had. None of the characters have issues. The only issues they have now is stopping Eggman whatever he's doing now. In Sonic Unleashed games before that, the characters actually had thoughts. You could tackle dark topics and insecurities that the characters have without turning it into a rated M game. Believe me, I love stories that can tackle dark topics that are rated for more mature audiences, but something I love so much that is missing most cartoons and movies today is that these stories don't have to deal with mature content to tell a meaningful and dark story. One way to make a meaningful scene is actually my favorite cutscene in this game. In this cutscene, Sonic and Chip's journey is almost over. They reflect on the journey as they watch the sunset with some really touching music. The conversation ends with Chip thinking that he has to save the world alone, but that is when Sonic tells him that he isn't alone. Now yes, this is a very cheesy moral of the story that's been done a million times, but they actually made it look very good this time. It's not like future games where through the power of friendship we can save the world. In this game it actually works because Sonic and Chip are actually friends. This is no Sonic and Rookie situation. We know why they're friends and their bond carries weight in the story because we've been seeing it get built up for the entire story. So now, when the power of friendship lesson is shown, it's not cringy, stupid, and pointless. Also, this scene proves something else. One of the main criticisms of this game is that the Werehog has no impact on the story, which is not completely untrue because it wasn't necessary for the Werehog to be in the story, but the Werehog being in the story makes it even better. For example, in the scene that we're talking about, Sonic asks Chip if he's the reason why his Werehog form isn't evil. Chip says no, and that Sonic isn't evil because Sonic is just a great role model of a person who never gives up on saving the world. This scene kinda proves that Sonic is incorruptible. That means Sonic has been infected with Dark Gaia power, but still isn't evil because of Sonic's great power of integrity. If we didn't have the Werehog in this story, we wouldn't have known of this beautiful scene. It shows how good of a role model Sonic is and how he is a symbol of hope. That about wraps up everything about the story, so now it's time to talk about world building. Okay, everything is opinion based in this video, but you cannot deny that this game has the most world building out of any Sonic game. I mean, this game was literally built on the idea of world building, so it'd be stupid to claim otherwise. And while being built on the idea of world building, it actually achieves world building very well. There are actually multiple unique hub worlds that you can explore. These hub worlds take place in different parts of the world, so that means the culture is gonna be a lot different in these locations. Honestly, that's good. We're teaching stuff about other cultures to the youth. In this game, you're pretty much exploring the world. You could call it a world adventure. Actually, let's talk about that for a second. Now, if you're an absolute intellectual, one of the very few kinds in this world that has a grip understanding of the perplexing genre of media we know today as Sonic the Hedgehog lore, you would know that Sonic Unleashed was originally supposed to be the sequel to the Adventure series, also known as Sonic Adventure 3. The game is even still known as Sonic World Adventure in Japan, and yes, I do think that this game has lived up to the previous titles enough to be called Sonic Adventure 3. I still love the idea of the game being called Sonic World Adventure so much more. It just sounds like a good title for this game because you actually do what the title tells you to do. Also, the game case just looks a million times better. I mean, like, wow. Can I even get this on a poster anywhere? The thing about this game is that there are so many reoccurring details in this game that I love a lot. For example, the hot dog guy, he's pretty much everywhere. He's in every part of the world for you to talk to. Of course, you can do missions for him if you want to get breezy dogs for more XP. Another thing that you can do in this game is buy different foods at different places around the world. Mind you, it's best for you to stick to chili dogs, but you still have the option for these different foods, which is very cool. You can also find collectibles that are actually exclusive to specific places around the world. This is great because it gives you more incentive to explore different parts of the world in the game that is actually called Sonic World Adventure, in Japan at least. Another weird thing about this game is all the obsession over food in this game. You see Eggman with a sandwich, you see a professor criticizing a sandwich for some reason. Some people think the sandwich scene is stupid, but I find it to be awesome. We have such a nice story, and then we have one random scene where a highly educated professor gives a review of a sandwich. You can't beat that, alright? Sonic Force is what you got on that. Honestly, as weird as that is, I like it. It gives the game personality, and it makes the world feel so much more alive. However, there is a criticism of this game that almost everyone has brought up, and it's that no NPC cares that the world is ending. Which is very true, and after all, I do need to criticize this or I'd be a hypocrite for the Sonic Forces video that I made. So yes, the NPCs not caring is a little stupid. Thankfully, it's an optional part of the world and story to talk to them. Even with that, I still think it's worth your time talking to the humans because they all have unique dialogue. But that's about it. The world building in this game is way past cool, but now it's time to jump into the soundtrack of the game. The soundtrack of this game is the best soundtrack in the entire series in my opinion. Of course you may disagree, so just like the Sonic Forces video, go into this knowing that your opinion may be different. Anyways, I love how the soundtrack sounds and when and where the soundtrack is utilized. For example, in the daytime stages, the soundtrack is very fast. It makes you really want to go fast. The adrenaline that you get from going high speeds with the soundtrack going to town in the background is an experience you can't find anywhere else. However, once you reach the Werehog stages, the soundtrack is slowed down, with a little bit of an in-your-face attitude with the track. There are so many good songs in this game, I would be a madman to mention them all. However, there are a few tracks that I want to mention. For example, the hub worlds have some of the best video game soundtracks I've ever heard. I also gotta mention two more songs, one from the Werehog stage and one from the daytime stage. Here it is. Another track that we have to talk about that the game hypes up, which is also the transition music in this video, is Endless Possibilities. When I first heard this track, I didn't really get as much enjoyment as I did out Live and Learn or Open Your Heart. However, once I played through Unleash and the final cutscene began with this song playing, it was like Christmas, man. Nothing can beat that special moment that I had with the game. I'm glad that they didn't use the lyrical version during the final boss fight, because this song was just so much more impactful when using the credits. This song became a lot better just knowing the journey that this game brought along with it. However, I would still say Live and Learn and Open Your Heart are still better songs alone, because I mean, like, it's a very high bar to beat, alright? Those songs are great. It's no secret, this game has some very well put together soundtracks, but now it's time to get into the meat of the video. We need to talk about the modern Sonic gameplay. You can't lie, modern Sonic is everyone's favorite part of this game, and it's very clear for as to why. This gameplay is some of the best gameplay in the entire series. This is the first time in the series that the boosting gameplay was introduced, and a lot of people loved it. Not a lot of people like the Werehog stages, but we'll get to that later. Modern Sonic's gameplay in this game is an absolute gem of the gaming industry. There are very few games that can give you this much adrenaline and make you feel this powerful. Anyways, when you're playing Modern Sonic, you have to run through a stage, collecting rings, destroying badniks, doing cool tricks, while trying to complete the stage in the fastest amount of time. Except in this boosting title, it actually takes a little bit more skill to get an S rank. More about that later. You can also find side missions like the hot dog missions, which allow you to complete levels again with a special challenge for more XP. Or maybe you just want to play the other acts, because this game has a lot more levels if you just explored the hub worlds. They even have extra sun and moon medals for these levels. If you play through this game for the first time, I recommend you check out the side missions. They're pretty cool, and it can save you a lot of trouble with these medals. You can also check out the Werehog side missions as well while you're at it. They're not half bad. In this gameplay, the levels are walking textbook examples on how to make a masterpiece. First off, the scenery is beautiful to look at. The amount of detail that was put in these levels are amazing. The only sad part is that Sonic dashes right past it most of the time. I still really appreciate the developers for taking time to make a fleshed out world, even if it does mean that we run past it at blitzing speeds. I mean, they put more detail in these levels than all the adventure games and future games in the series. When has a level ever felt this alive in a Sonic game? Absolutely beautiful, but it's not free of criticism. There are a few annoyances that I have with the gameplay. First, this isn't really a surprise, Sun Moon medals, they're garbage. You have to stop everything that you're doing just to get these bad boys when playing Mario Sonic. Of course, if you just get the Sun Moon medals from the Werehog stages and only get the Sun Moon medals that are right in your way in the day stages, you won't have an issue with progressing. It still sucks when you have to stop the boosting gameplay to get them. You know, the gameplay that works because you never stop. Another issue that I have, which is pretty annoying in this game, is how the controls are mapped. Thankfully, Sega got the mapping correct on Sonic Generations, but holy blue spheres, these controls are terrible in Sonic Unleashed. If you played Sonic Generations or Sonic Colors before this game, it's gonna take some time getting used to these controls. The main reason why the controls suck is because they mapped the jump button to X. Now tell me why anyone would do that. It's because Sega was correct. Normally, you would use the homing attack to get further distance in your jumps, or using it just to kill an enemy. However, eventually in the game, you unlock the air dash, and it's mapped to the same button as the homing attack and the boost. You can see where this is going. What this means is that you can no longer use the homing attack as a way to get more distance in your jumps. Also, if you want to use the homing attack to kill an enemy, you better be hoping that you're locked on, because if you aren't, you're dead. You diddly done blasted yourself off the map. However, once you play 1 or 2 stages, you pretty much get the hang of it. Still doesn't make it good, but it's not as big of an issue as other issues. What are those issues, you may be asking? Well, the frame rate is terrible. The game is still playable, and luckily I have a high tolerance for bad frame rates, but it's still not very good. For example, levels like Jungle Joyride will drop to a slideshow. I hate criticizing the game for this because of 2 reasons. 1, it doesn't bother me that much, and 2, it could be easily fixed if Sonic Team just ported the game to current hardware with a better resolution and FPS. They don't have to change a single thing about the game. They just have to throw it on new consoles, make the FPS cap 60, and fix the resolution. I hope sometime in the future, maybe this year, they could give us a game collection with a bunch of Sonic games that includes Sonic Unleashed. And that's about it for the modern Sonic gameplay. So now, it's time to get to the part of the video that you've all been waiting for. A lot of people don't like this part of the game. I personally think he's an awesome addition to this game, but there's a lot to cover here. First off, a lot of people don't even like the idea of a werehog. I mean, I kinda have to agree with them. Like, think about it. What even is a werehog? A werewolf hedgehog? The whole concept of a werewolf is structured on the idea that a man transforms into a wolf-like creature. So does this mean that Sonic also has human traits in him as well when he's a werehog? If you look past the weird science that goes into the werehog, it's not the worst idea. I get it, it's nothing cool like Caliburn, but it's still interesting to say the least. It's almost as if the werehog was something random that the team was interested in exploring. You know, a gimmick. It's one of those things that only Mario's allowed to have. Anyways, enough about that. Let's get into the gameplay. So for this part of the video, I'm mainly going to be responding to criticisms. It may seem like I'm being negative towards the werehog, but trust me, I do like the game. I just have to respond to these criticisms because there is a lot for the werehog. Some well-deserved, some not so well-deserved. One of the main criticisms of the gameplay is that he slows the game down and he's just too slow for a Sonic game. Some people just like to go fast and not play other characters. If that's the case for you, I can't really convince you otherwise. However, I am going to explain why I like the slower gameplay in a Sonic game. Yes, I understand that Sonic's a platformer built on the idea of speed. However, I do enjoy other platformers, even some in the same franchise as Sonic. For example, I love Amy's gameplay in Sonic Adventure 1. If they made her controls less clunky and more smooth, she would be my favorite character to play as right next to Sonic. She is a lot slower, but she gives me the ability to explore the environments around me. This is a lot like the Werehog because your focus isn't getting to the end of the stage in the shortest amount of time. Your goal is to do difficult platforming, do some swanky combos, and survive to the end without dying. Since you aren't being rushed to get to the end of the stage, you can explore, and this is very helpful for when you're looking for sun and moon medals. I wouldn't change anything about the sun moon medals when it comes to Werehog. It's not stupid like the daytime stages, and it doesn't break the pace of the game for you to get the medals. In fact, I think it makes the level even better because of the tricky platforming and the cool places that the medals are hidden in. So grab the closest bird in your location, because we are about to play Banjo and Sonic crossover. If you absolutely hate collectathons, do not play this game, because a lot of the magic that this game has with the Werehog is collecting things. With that out of the way, there's still quite a few things that we have to address about the Werehog. First off, the really long levels. A lot of people do not like the length of these levels. I guess you just have to have a fixed mindset on the game. The Werehog levels last from 15 to 20 minutes, but if you're new to the game, it can last you anywhere from 25 to 30 minutes. But eventually your skill on the game will improve, and you'll be able to complete levels a lot faster. I always see people complain about the levels being 15 minutes or longer. If I'm having a lot of fun during the 15 minutes, then I don't really see much of a reason for hating the longer levels. If you don't like lengthy levels, I understand, but I do, and I'm going to explain why. Believe it or not, it actually adds another layer of challenge. For example, if you're running through a level, the further you progress decides how much is on the line. If you die at the end of a Werehog level, good luck getting an A rank. This means that when you're near the end of the stage, it will begin to make the situation you're in feel much more intense, especially if you're low on health and there are no rings around. It really makes the game a thrilling and nail-biting experience. You may be asking, what happens when you defeat all the challenges in your way without dying and juggling all the score that you racked up from beating up enemies, you may ask? You get a fat and juicy S rank with levels of satisfaction that you cannot find anywhere else. Sonic Unleashed pushes you to your limits and forces you to get better at the game if you want that beautiful S rank. Of course, if you aren't into looking flamboyant when you play Sonic Unleashed, you could just push through the game normally and get a B rank on every stage. But don't worry, there'll still be a lot of challenges for you to push through. Another issue is that most jumps are based on if you can grapple onto something. This wouldn't be so bad, but sometimes you just don't lock on. I mean, it feels like you should be locking on, but sometimes you just don't. This is really bad because most of these jumps could result in you dying if you don't make it. Although, eventually you do come to expect that you need to jump further than you think you should, just to overcompensate for the possibility that you might not lock on. So it's kind of like the controls of the daytime stages. It's not going to be too big of an issue later on in the game, but it still kind of sucks. Oh boy, one reoccurring issue with the Werehog is the camera. I have to agree, because there are certain moments in this game where you have to make a blind jump. Would you look at that? The Sonic game having an annoying camera. Like, geez, someone take Sonic Team to Best Buy. They need to find out what a camera is. The final big issue that people have with the gameplay is the combat. I actually like the combat. Of course, it's not God of War quality, but it's not completely terrible either. At the beginning, it's pretty meh, but eventually evolves into something pretty cool. You can learn new combos to spice up the beat 'em up gameplay. You can even use the combos to get further distance in your jumps. You may not like this about the Werehog, but I do. So right now, I should give my real opinion on the Werehog. When it comes to the Werehog, it's definitely not the ideal gameplay. There are a lot of little annoyances that can be corrected. However, I still think it's better than the previous playable characters. Maybe not better than the mech stages or the Knuckles Emerald Hunt stages, but they're still fun to be had in the Werehog. I guess it's mostly just preference. Why do you play Sonic games? For fast platforming may be the most common, but I personally play Sonic games for the characters that they've created. Yes, fast platforming absolutely needs to be in a Sonic game, but I don't mind a little bit of slower paced gameplay in my Sonic games. And since I don't mind the slower paced gameplay in a Sonic game, I've come to appreciate the Werehog and the modern Sonic gameplay, which means that I like this game a lot. The Werehog and the modern Sonic gameplay is pretty fun throughout the game. The levels are very interesting, they have beautiful environments. But we're forgetting about one important level of the game, the one level that everyone despises when they play for the first time. Let's jump into it. Whew. Anybody who's ever played through this game knows the pain that players go through when they first play Eggmanland. Eggmanland has been hinted at since the first Sonic adventure, and now here we are. This is the level that will test your abilities. This game, believe it or not, is pretty challenging in your first playthrough. Yes, Sonic Unleashed is my favorite Sonic game, but I certainly wouldn't recommend this to someone who's never played a Sonic game. If you want to recommend a Sonic game to a new player, give them Sonic Generations or Sonic Mania, because Sonic Unleashed will absolutely throw you in the mud. So now I'm going to take this part of the video to talk about how challenge is utilized in the game. First, the daytime stages aren't challenging based on whether you'll die or not. Even though, believe me, there is some of that in this game. Challenge mainly falls on whether or not you can get an S rank. It's pretty challenging because you have to be very fast while keeping a significant amount of your rings and killing enough enemies. Just getting hit once could cause you to go from an S rank to a B rank. Rings are very important. Eventually, if you become really invested in the gameplay, you'll master every level and become a better player overall at the game. Now with the Werehog. You just need to survive to the end of the level while doing cool combos. I would say that the Werehog levels are a lot easier to get an S rank in. This is because you can take your time and not mess up. It's easy for you to color within the lines, so to speak. Again, with this gameplay, you'll just get a lot better at it over time. But there's something else to the challenge of this game. It adds replayability. It's a really good reason to replay the game because you know by the end of the game, you can definitely go back and get an S rank on some of the levels. Anyways, you know what? Enough about that. Back to Eggmanland. Finally, once you reach Eggmanland, it's the perfect challenge for you as a player. This level is hard. It's not only hard, it's pulling your hair out material. To me, you cannot say you mastered Sonic Unleashed until you complete all the hot dog quests for Eggmanland. This is the perfect last level before you head into the supersonic boss fight. This level is going to break you down and it will test all the skills that you built during the playthrough of the game. Of course you don't have to listen to me, you could still see this level as being a complete dumpster fire. Before I sum up the main issues of the game and how I'd like them to be fixed, let's first look at what IGN thinks of the game. After all, they are a reliable source to know if a game is worth your time or not. Huh? That's interesting. A 4.5. The funniest part about this article is the end of it. It says, Sonic Unleashed made me bipolar. In the daytime I'm happy. Almost too happy. And at night I become angry and irritable. Frustrated and impossible to be around. Sonic deserves better. More importantly, gamers deserve better. You hear that? You gamers deserve better than this piece of trash. Well, IGN, what do us gamers deserve? Sonic Adventure? Apparently not. That's supposedly worse than Sonic Unleashed. Sonic and the Secret Rings? Yes? That's right, you gamers don't deserve this absolute piece of dolphin feces. The gamers deserve Sonic and the Secret Rings. On a real note, I was looking at this review with absolute confusion. I thought this was a joke. And then I saw when it was made, and it's actually the original review. This is not a joke, guys. This is serious. According to IGN, Sonic and the Secret Rings is more worth your time than Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Adventure. If you don't believe that IGN is bad in hurting the Sonic brand, there is no hope for you. Just give up. By the way, I didn't even show the current review for Sonic Unleashed because it's an absolute joke. IGN years later thought it was a great idea to give Sonic Unleashed a 7 out of 10. A 7 out of 10? That seems a lot better than a 4.5 out of 10. Like, dang IGN, you made a game go from a terrible waste of time to a pretty decent game that's worth a play. At that point, the damage is already done. This sent a message to Sega that we don't like elements from Sonic Unleashed. This is why we haven't gotten game-changing playable characters since 2008. Look at it from Sonic Team's perspective. This game got bashed in reviews and they were told that this game was terrible, which also according to IGN is worse than Sonic 06. Being told that your game is worse than Sonic 06 is not good in the slightest. Of course, they made changes in the future games. In fact, the only thing that they kept from Sonic Unleashed was the boost. So now, I'm going to give an analysis for what I've said so far and explain any fixes that I'd make to the game. First, fix the frame rate. It's very simple and can be easily fixed. This fix could make Jungle Joyride go from a slideshow to something very impressive and beautiful. What I also want is the controls from Sonic Generations to replace the controls for this game. I want to be able to play Sonic Generations and then switch to Sonic Unleashed without an issue. Also, I'd like to change how the medals are handled. In the game normally, you need a specific amount of medals to progress. That's not necessarily an issue if the medals were handled a little bit better. Either take them out completely or give us a specific amount of medals by getting a rank in the stage. S ranks would obviously give us the most, and the worse of a rank you have, the less medals you get. That's for the daytime stages. For the nighttime stages, I would keep the medals in the levels. because honestly, it's a part of what makes those levels so special. Also, another minor point that I didn't bring up earlier is please take out the music that begins every time you punch someone in this game. There needs to be a new battle theme for every level. I'm tired of the intense jazz music starting every time I start a fight. Please give the Werehog more range to lock onto platforms. It feels really unnatural, and I know you can learn how to get the lock on, but new players shouldn't have to sort through that annoyance. Also, bring the time for the stages down. As much as I like the longer stages, not a lot of other people do. Make the levels 8 to 10 minutes. It's a perfect length for you to get everything that you need done with the Werehog. That's all that I'd fix about the game. This is a very subjective review, so I can't really bash the Werehog too hard since I love his gameplay. Yes, there are a lot of little annoyances, but the rest of the game is so good and I recommend you give it a try. Now, let's get into the conclusion of the video. Sonic the Hedgehog used to be a character in the gaming industry that everyone showed high amounts of respect to. Sonic was untouchable, and a new game was being hyped up in the franchise. The game was Sonic 06. Back then, the spotlight has always been on Sonic, so when Sonic 06 was released, everyone was able to see how far Sonic has fallen. Everyone from then on, and still to this day, sees Sonic as a laughingstock of the gaming industry. The saddest thing to come out of Sonic 06 wasn't the game. It was the amount of collateral damage that the game has done to the series. Sonic's reputation has been ruined forever because of a game that should have never existed. You guys may be thinking that Sonic Team doesn't care about us, or even this blue hedgehog right now, but back then, it was so clear that they actually did. After the failure of Sonic 06, Sonic Unleashed came out 2 years later. This game was supposed to be a love letter and apology for what had happened in 2006. It's impossible to deny the amount of love that was put in this game. Talk about rushed Sonic game? This game was one of the last Sonic games that wasn't rushed. Look at the CGI, the overly detailed levels, and the story, which is one of the last Sonic games to feature a supersonic boss fight. However, the collateral damage from 06 followed over and destroyed this game. This game is an absolutely amazing game that is now buried under a mountain of bad games that will be eventually forgotten. In retrospect, I love this game so much. The atmosphere, setting, and the tone is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in a story. There's so much to learn and experience from this game. This game will challenge you and push you to your limits so you can become a better player. I love this game. The saddest thing about this game is we'll never see a game like this ever again. That is my opinion about Sonic Unleashed. Welcome to the end of the video where I do some unscripted chatter. What you just watched was a remake video for a Sonic Unleashed video I made a while back. It was really bad, I didn't like it at all, and there was a lot of things I left out of it. I didn't get my point across, and to be honest, I was terrible at video essays, so I just made a completely new one for Sonic Forces. And I liked that video so much, and apparently you guys liked that video so much, that I actually made a Sonic Unleashed video with the same format. I genuinely love Sonic Unleashed, and this video came from the heart. However, when I first started making this video, it was really annoying, guys. I gotta be 100% honest with you. I've had to re-record the entire script about 3 times during this. I hope you guys liked the video because I put so much work in this video, and I love this game so much, and I hope you guys love it too. And if you don't, leave a comment telling me why you don't like the game. Maybe you think this whole video was just stupid and I'm wrong. Come and tell me. Or maybe you just agree with me. Share some experiences that you had with the game or why you think it's so great down below. As well as make sure to join the Discord server down below. It's called the Mobius Zone. You can share your art there. We have a very supportive community. Also, if you share your art there, I might actually feature it in a video for the video essays. I'll even credit you and leave a Discord handle so people can contact you. If you're interested in that, join the Discord server down below. I'll be happy to see you guys' art, as well as you can join the server and talk to me and a bunch of other amazing people who like theorizing about the games, giving their opinions, debating the games. You can find all that in the Mobius Zone. Anyways, guys, that's the end of the video. I love you guys a lot. Make sure to like, comment, favorite, subscribe. Adios.